Erik Horne here with Anthony Slater, former Thunder buddy Anthony Slater.
Just like old times.
Just like old times, except I'm doing the intro. Final score tonight at Oracle Arena, Thunder 96, I'm doing it backwards. Warriors 122, Thunder 96. A comprehensive butt kicking by the Warriors, and it started with a former Thunder player.
Yeah, Jeremy Grant dunking on Kevin Durant seemed to spark him.
That was the jump off.
Durant hit a 3 on the first possession and then just disappeared for about 10 minutes. And the Thunder was playing really well. I think they were up by double digits at one point. And it was kind of capped off by that Grant dunk, which I can understand him in that moment kind of getting in Durant's face. I mean, it was an emotional. It's such an emotional night, and it was a really big play. But right after that, Durant goes off. I think he closed the quarter in the last 2 minutes with 10 points, 29 in the first half. His biggest first half since a few years ago here. Remember when he had 30 and then hurt his foot? Or hurt his ankle, so huge night for him, and obviously a big moment for him in his career.
Yeah, I think I saw a stat that like 4 of his top halves ever have either his first 3 came against the Warriors. He's had like monster halves against the Warriors.
Remember his 54-point game? His
Yeah.
MVP season was against the Warriors. It was in the peak, though.
Yeah, he has like the highest scoring average of any player against the Warriors in NBA history. But yeah, Durant had 16 points in the second quarter. He outscored the Thunder by himself. Thunder only had 11. I mean, they went really cold in the second quarter. I think they were like 4 of 25. And, this thing came in billed as like a Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant matchup. And it really ended up being kind of a matchup of Kevin Durant going back and forth with some of the Thunder players. I mean, it started with Grant, and then it trickled over into the Enes Kanter show on the bench over there.
Yeah, that was a weird moment. Look, I can understand Kevin from the perspective of Kanter's kind of been chirping all summer. He chirped at me when I left. I mean, I was roped into it. And then Kanter, I don't know exactly who started it, but yes, it was an extended conversation over there towards the Thunder bench. And to me, it kind of just highlighted the sadness in a sense, especially from the Thunder side of the night, where in that little freeze frame, you kind of saw Roberson's face. And, I mean, you know how close Roberson was to Durant. Durant was one of kind of his biggest supporters early years. And then Adams, who knows Durant well. Remember when Durant singled him out in the MVP speech? And Kanter was never close to Durant. He got there later in time, and they just, it's not like they hated each other. They just weren't close. So it was just this weird moment where Ennis was going and going and going, and Durant was going back, and you could just tell it was like Robertson and Adams. And to me, that like kind of just summed up the awkwardness of the night.
And then in the post game, you have Durant saying, how many minutes did this guy play in response to Kanter? And
reminded me of the Villanueva thing that Durant and Westbrook did.
Yeah, it's just Durant really had all the leverage tonight in terms of the trash talk because after that Grant dunk, he responded, tremendously with his 39 points, and essentially Durant put the Thunder away by himself in that second quarter. I mean, it was tough circumstances for the Thunder coming in here. This is going to be an emotional game for Durant playing for the first time against the Thunder, and then the Thunder also coming off of a back-to-back where Russell Westbrook really exerted himself against the Clippers on Wednesday night. So, I'm not entirely surprised by the result, but I was taken aback by how good Durant really was.
Yeah, 7 threes ties a career high. He had only had 3 threes in the first 4 games combined. I think it was 3 of 13. So he'd been good, but he hadn't erupted like that scoring wise. And from his side of things, it was a good night to do it. It kind of obviously quieted any talk online or by the Thunder, and then I think it's just good for him to get it out of the way. Now they go to the Lakers. The Warriors go play the Lakers tomorrow, and they can kind of push forward. But we're not talking about it.
Russell Westbrook finished with 20 points, 10 assists, 6 rebounds, 6 turnovers in basically 29 minutes. He didn't play the fourth quarter. There was no need for him to. The Thunder were down big going into the fourth quarter. A good move by Billy Donovan just to get him off the floor, get the starters off the floor, and avoid any injuries or potential blowback or any further dust-ups. Westbrook was actually good about it in post-game for the most part, which you'll see later on about kind of the emotions of the game and the rivalry and just some of the interactions between Durant and the Thunder players, and basically say, we'll see him again. And I think that for round one, this wound up being a good bit of what we anticipated, and it leaves some intrigue later on in the season because I don't know if Durant's going to be able to shoot that way again, but it also leaves the chance that, they're going to go into Chesapeake Energy Arena and they're going to face a different kind of crowd in the third meeting. And there's one more back here on January 18th, so it's
the
going
one
to be
I'm waiting
great
for is
every
in
time.
February. The one I'm waiting
That's
for
the
is in
one.
February, for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, here's some post-game commentary from Billy Donovan and Russell Westbrook.
I thought the first quarter we did a really a great job. I thought once we started subbing there in that second quarter, it's going to be, I think, a great learning experience for some of our younger guys that got a chance to play. But really, we had that one difficult stretch there. Really, it was a good portion of that second quarter where I thought two things happened. We gave up some threes in transition, and we gave up some threes on second chance points. And I thought the difference in the game was the fact that they were, they shot, I think they were right at 50% at the half from three, and they had 12 offensive rebounds. And it was that second quarter I thought that hurt us. I mean, we had some moments here or there, but I thought for our guys, on the back-to-back Clippers in this game, I think two games like that, a lot we can take from and learn from, early part of this season.
How tough was it to see KD on another team?
No, I mean, listen, I've said this before, the decision that he made was in July, so we've all here have had to move fast. And so to me, it's just all about the guys in our locker room, the guys we're, going to battle with and trying to help, each and every day. So, for me, it's just focus on the guys in the locker room.
Really, as part of that learning experience, maybe not jawing with a guy that maybe gets him going a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't, see much of that. I can't comment on that. But I just thought that the two things that stood out was we got a little bit loose on some switches. We gave up some threes because of some missed shots for us because we had a hard time buying a basket, especially when we did attack the paint. It got them out in transition. We didn't get matched up a couple times. And then I thought the offense was rebounding the second chance points, which really led to a lot of three-point shots. And then, clearly we fouled Curry twice. It got him 6 free throws. It was a three-point line in the rebounding. I thought that because in the first, I think 8 or 9 minutes we were playing well. We started to sub, and some of our younger guys came in there, and it was a great learning experience. And I think that's something that they'll be able to look at and grow from and get better from.
You've seen that a lot from Kevin over the years. What was the level of strangeness seeing it happen on the opposite side tonight?
Just basketball, man.
Russell, what lessons did y'all take from that second quarter when the Warriors really took control of the game?
You got to watch it. We got to get back to film. Sorry. You got to get back to film and kind of watch and see, what we can kind of improve and see what mistakes we made. But, it's one game earlier in the season. We'll figure it out.
Did you feel like the team handled the emotions of the game well? There was a point where Ennis was kind of jawing with Kevin at the end of that second quarter.
It happens. The Warriors are doing a lot of trash talking. Apparently, I guess they talk a lot of trash now. But, we'll see how that goes. But, we get ready for the next game, man. It's one game, one loss for us. We move on. Get ready for the next one.
Is that different from that?
Who?
Is that different from that?
I guess so. I guess that's what they do. But we'll see them again.
Did you get a chance to talk to KD before or after?
Nah, when I get on the court, I don't talk to anybody but my teammates.
What about off the court, Russell? There was a time where y'all went to chapel together, I believe, before the game. Did you talk to him then?
No, I don't talk to anybody at chapel. I listen to the word and I get back to the locker room.
You guys were leading 29-12 at one point, and Adams fell into foul trouble. Everything seemed to turn from there. Was that, if there was a turning point?
He's a huge part of our team and definitely impact on both ends of the floor. Him and foul trouble definitely hurt us a little bit, but there's still some things we can do to get better while he's off the floor, and we got to get better at that.
And the first 4 games, you guys were outstanding defensively. I know they're a great offensive team, but what needs to be consistent for you guys defensively this season?
We good, man. It's one game. I understand you guys like it's the Warriors. They won. It's fine, but we're okay. We're 4-1. It's one game. We play on Saturday, so simple as that.
I noticed you were checking your phone. Did Kevin Durant text you?
I'll talk to my wife.
Do you expect a text from him?
I expect to get on the plane, get ready to go home, go lay in my bed, get ready for Saturday.
Russ, you knew
Last one for Russell.
this season was going to be a different one, obviously, for you. What are some of the things that you've found that you have to do differently this year than years past?
It's different. It depends. Got a different defensive schemes that teams are doing. Just got to read and react and find out what's best.